It's the Hard Knocks life for us. Welcome in, Bills Mafia, to the Bills Breakdown here by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, and on today's episode, I have to start off with the most pressing and breaking news. Adam Schefter tweeted this out. The Bills will be the focus of Hard Knocks' training camp. So this is the very first time you're going to see the Hard Knocks in 2025. It then goes on in the middle of the season with the NFC East. So thank God that's not us. However, we will be featured on August 5th as the premiere episode of Hard Knocks. Now, I thought this was pretty cool, right? Like, how often as a Bills fan have you got to say, we get an inside look at what Bills practice looks like and what the team dynamic looks like? And this is exactly why you sub, right? Full Bills coverage all season long. That includes the offseason. You get the latest Bills news and rumors like we're talking about today. And during the season, you can win sweet Bills gear on our watch parties when we go live for Bills football games. So make sure you lock us in, hit that subscribe button. Remember, it is completely free, and help us grow our channel. Now, let me start off by saying this. Before I even deep dive on Hard Knocks, I am well aware of the stigma that Hard Knocks is a major distraction. And during the middle of the season, I would agree with you. I don't think you should have your players, performing in front of the camera inside the locker room. Obviously, they perform in front of the camera every single week because games are televised. But when they have cameras in their face during times when they should be focusing on game plan and football, then it just becomes a whole nightmare. Now, again, thank God it's not during the season. Hard Knocks training camp is just going to be leading up to the season, and then they disappear. Now, I'm sure that you're wondering, well, if it is a major distraction, and teams who have been on Hard Knocks previously have had that distraction, who are those teams and what were their records like the year that they were on Hard Knocks? Well, believe it or not, I did some digging, and I actually found the answer to your question. So in 2024, this is the offseason, by the way, not the in-season. It was the Chicago Bears. In 2023, the Jets, followed by the Lions, Cowboys, and the Los Angeles Chargers, rounding out 2020. And if you take a look at what their records were during the season that they were featured on Hard Knocks, only 3 of them have been piss poor. And 2 of them, the Lions and the Cowboys, actually had winning seasons. Now, what's something you notice, though, out of these 5 teams? The 3 teams that had losing records all had dog shit head coaches. 2024 was Matt Eberflus, Robert Saleh in 2023 for the Jets, and in 2020 the Chargers had Brandon Staley. All 3 of those guys are no longer the head coaches for a good reason. They sucked. Dan Campbell still has his job. And Mike McCarthy no longer has his job. He was the coach of the Cowboys. But they went 12-5 that season. So you can't tell me that there's a direct correlation between the Hard Knocks feature and having a successful football season. I don't believe that. I think it all comes down to how you practice, what your team is like, and how well coached are you. So I'm not worried about the Bills having cameras following them around during training camp. And neither should you. Again, this would be a completely different conversation if it was during the middle of the season. The Bills are on a quest to win a Super Bowl, right? We don't want to waste any more of Josh Allen's prime having a season where cameras are following him around nonstop and tracking his every move, asking him questions, and just being an overall distraction inside the locker room. But before the season starts, I have no problem with it whatsoever. In fact, during the offseason, this is around the time where players should be encouraged to let their personalities out and to, have a little bit more of a distraction while you're getting ready for the season. Because once the season starts, it's all business all day long. So I'll ask you this one question. Do you like the Bills being featured on Hard Knocks? Yes or no? I like it. I like it for the offseason. If it were the middle of the season, my answer would be completely different. But let me know in the comment section down below what you think, because obviously I can see both sides. If you hate the move of the Bills being featured on Hard Knocks, totally makes sense to me. Now, there is another part of great news that we have to get to, and it involves what the NFL did just this morning. So there was a meeting between a bunch of NFL owners and a bunch of NFL personnel and all the different teams gathered together to vote on the Tush Push. And Diana Rossini was actually the one that broke this just a couple of hours ago. She said the Packers proposed to ban the Tush Push, and it didn't receive the 75% support rate that was required to ban the Tush Push. Thus, it lives and will be back in the 2025 season. Why is that good news? Well, I'll tell you why that's good news for the Bills. But before that, let's talk about kind of what we know so far about what the meeting entailed. The Packers submitted this revised proposal. A few months ago, the Packers said, hey, we don't like the Tush Push. We are going to propose that we ban it. The NFL said, yeah, talk to us when the season's over. Well, now that the season's over, they revised that plan and then presented it again. And believe it or not, a bunch of teams were on board with the Packers. They were arguing that it was a dangerous play, that it compromised the health of its players. Truth is, the Eagles are really the only team to have constant success running it. I know the Bills run their own version of it, and it has seen some success, but the Eagles are known for this play. It was nicknamed the brotherly shove. And last year, the Eagles actually saw a little bit of a dip in its productivity. The league average was 76% success. The Eagles had 81.3% of the time ran it successfully. And in 2022, they ran this at a 92% clip. Obviously, that was with Jason Kelce, who is an all-time center. And what is the Tush Push when you boil it down to its most simplest form? It's just a guaranteed chain mover and drive extender. That's it. That's all it is. It's a bunch of big offensive linemen pushing forward, driving their momentum through the defensive line to gain that extra yard. And you really only use it on 3rd and short or 4th and short. I rarely see it used on 2nd down or even 1st down. You know, if there was like a 1st and 5 situation, you almost never see it. So now let's round it back and kind of come full circle with it. What does it mean for the Bills? Because I'm sure you're wondering, okay, why is this good news for our team? Well, it's good news because outside of the Eagles, the other team that runs this play most successfully is Buffalo. And it creates more opportunities for short yard success. So on 3rd and short or 4th and short, you will be able to extend the drive, move the change, and continue your successful drive. It bleeds more time off the clock, which then will eventually lead to more victories. Now, in 2024, how good was Buffalo on 3rd down conversions? Because, again, that's what this all comes back to. On 3rd down, how many percentage points of the time was Buffalo converting? Top 10. And if you notice something about all 5 of these teams, with the exception of the Arizona Cardinals, what do all 4 of these teams have in common? Dynamic and effective offensive packages. The Lions, one of the league's best offenses last year. The Bengals, one of the league's best offenses last year. Same with Buffalo and same with the Commanders. All 4 of those teams, the Cardinals are kind of the outlier here because they're more of a defensive run team with Jonathan Gannon. But out of all these 4 teams, you saw highly efficient, highly effective offenses. So obviously, this is a good thing to keep this number up. You want this number as high as possible. Because when you convert on 3rd downs, defenses stay on the field, they get more tired, and you are able to score on them with more ease. So, comes down to a simple question, really. Are you happy the Tush Push is staying? Yes, no, let me know in the comment section down below. I'm saying an emphatic yes for those reasons that I just previously mentioned, but let me know what you think down in the comment section. Again, one more time, that's why you subscribe. We're going to have Bills content for you all off-season long and all season long. The only thing you got to do is hit that sub button, whatever color it is on your timeline, and lock us in for free Buffalo Bills coverage. Until next time, my name is Moose. Be cool.